To give background, in my previous company, we supported Microsoft 365 for business. And as we know, the cloud industry is one of the blooming industries in the world today. And with a growing company, you get to encounter different types of challenges. The challenge that we had in our previous organization is we need to expand, we need to hire more people. Eventually, the backlogs of the tickets that we have are increasing, as well as we also have to maintain that level of quality that we produce for our customers. And the goal of the project is to really reduce processing time for non-first day resolution tickets from 13 days to 8 days. And we were able to successfully reduce that in a span of 3 months with the help of Six Sigma PH and the tools and methodologies that were shared to us during the training. Thank you. The challenges that I would like to share to everyone here is even before we started the project, this is actually the third attempt for starting a project on my end. Due to the challenges during the pandemic, I initially enrolled for a green belt class before. I think that was before the pandemic, a few months, and then we started it right away. And then eventually the pandemic happened with the lockdown and all, and we had to reallocate our focus on that matter. And from there, we had to postpone the project for a few months. And then I also tried to look for other companies that wherein I can run projects. I think there's one we were able to find in Six Sigma PH as well as one of our contacts here in Six Sigma PH, but we were not able to proceed with it. That's the second attempt because of bandwidth opportunities. And then eventually we started the new one. This is the third attempt, the 13 days, and then we're able to start it with the continuous communication with our sponsors in my previous organization, as well as with continuous communication with Six Sigma PH. Tip that I could give with this class is to continuously communicate with your sponsor as well as your mentors, especially with starting a project. I think that's the first step. It's really to start the project. And then once you start this project, you get to learn in the process, specifically what the topic that is being discussed earlier about the funneling method, process analysis, graphical analysis, and statistical analysis. It's definitely gonna be able to help you funnel the action items that you need to focus on. Especially we can't execute everything in a span of one count, or especially with limited resources. We have to really funnel it in order for us to target our goal. So I think that's it. This is just to thank Six Sigma PH for continuously guiding me. Even up until now, I used to I communicate with Sir Rex and Chrissy for inquiries that I have in my current organization for inquiries. So thank you. Thank you. We stick with the goal. Mainly it's to increase or to reduce processing time, but how we were able to identify processing time is through the y is equals to f of x. So for example, we would want to increase CSAT, for example, customer satisfaction. But one of the factors that we were able to identify is that if we reduce processing time, we'll be able to increase CSAT. So we concentrated on reducing processing time in that perspective, and from there we identified it as a goal. Even when we postponed it, because that's the first attempt. That's our goal, to reduce processing time, right? And then when we postponed it due to the pandemic lockdown, I just communicated with my sponsor, and then reconvened with the same approach or the same goal, which is to reduce processing time. So it's really identifying what specific metrics you need to address to increase this, for example, customer satisfaction. And we focus on that, and then from there we move forward. I would say disheartened in a way. Yeah, because when I joined, I initially didn't know what Six Sigma PH was back before the pandemic. I think a few months, 3 months ago, 3 months before the pandemic lockdown. I think that was October 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But during that, after the training, I started the project, and then eventually lockdown happened during March, wherein we are already in the analyze phase, the start of analyze phase. So at some point I was disheartened to continue. It took me, I think, more than a year to proceed with the project, I even look for other pro bono consultancy projects that I can start with, since my organization had to reallocate our focus on the pandemic lockdown. But one thing that really helped me is to uh, really keep being motivated that when you finish this project, it's gonna enable you to grow your career as well, which enabled me to become part of become global process excellence manager of my new company. So I think it's more on that. You just have to be motivated, and the growth that you are pursuing, especially it's also helpful and beneficial in a personal perspective, because when we reduce processing time from 13 days to 8 days during that time, I've communicated with our agents in our company, and they're really thankful for the new processes that we had in place, because it's enabled them um, to handle their tickets better, and it's less stressful for them. So for me, it's a satisfaction as well that you get to make people's lives easier with Six Sigma. In terms of motivation, I think what kept me motivated is growth. Especially, I used to have an experience wherein, for example, na-master mo na yung current role mo, you get to do the same things all over again. But with Six Sigma page kasi, with running different types of projects, you get motivated because you get to learn a lot in the process. And one thing that helped me focus on that is that whenever I get to learn something, it's really on growth. I think that's the answer for it is really to pursue growth as an individual and as a professional, because once you execute these projects, you get to learn a lot, and then you get to apply it with different industries. I even siguro to further add, one of the fuels that I got in terms of motivation is that I get to apply it um, in my daily things or daily budgeting that I do. I think what was discussed earlier is yung sa Bitcoin. I used to have, I have investments as well. And what I do is, and even best, aside a part-time business that I have, I use control charts in there to identify whether I am in control of the process or not. It's really applying the tools even on your personal things, because once, for sure, when you join the training, you get to see different opportunities whenever you enter, even a restaurant, how you can fasten up the process. So I think one of the fuels that and is to really apply it, even though I don't get to start a project, just to apply how I can analyze a certain, whenever I go to restaurants or anything. So Rex, yung initial, yung before the pandemic, nag-ano na kami, yung yellow paper, yung may mga post-its and all, nag-ano na kami, we're under the analyze phase, we had the fishbone diagram na and all. We just had to start with the analyze phase. But dun sa execution of the project that I was able to complete, it's virtual na. We had to use our resources in terms of the virtual. But one good thing is we initially had a fishbone diagram before, and then we just have to further verify it with the new team members that we have, and then yeah, from there we executed it. I think yeah, it's one of the I would say challenge as well in terms of executing since we're going in virtual. So I think what really helped us yung mga tools natin, especially with here sa Six Sigma page, we're teaching Miro, so it's really helpful for executing projects.